and welcome to UATV. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha. The gas blackmail case performed by Russian Gazprom at the beginning of March has caused deep concerns among the European countries. Yesterday, after the meeting with High Representative of the EU for Foreign Affairs Federica Mogherini, President Petro Poroshenko has emphasized the threats of Russia's gas policy and urged the European Commission to reject the further construction of the Nord Stream 2 project. Now, do European countries share Ukraine's concern for Russian gas weapon, and what are the chances for Ukraine to join and share the European energy security space? To discuss these issues, we're joined in the studio today by Andriy Chubyk, Executive Director of the Center for Global Studies Strategy 21.
Hello.
So first of all, let's clarify. Nord Stream 2 is totally business economic project. Am I right?
Yeah, I would say it's totally political project, geopolitical project, and behind this project there are also some hidden goals of Russian Federation, namely of Kremlin, to spread corruption, to spread political influence, and to spread own kind of business among European member states, in particular those which are considered as being the vehicle of the European Union.
So basically, when Ukraine is seeking any kind of defense with the European Union from Russia's gas strategy, what exactly is Ukraine looking for?
Right now, we are pretty much equipped with our bilateral documents, I mean association agreement, and there is a special article 274, which specifies that we have to accept each other's interests and negotiate in cases if we are considering something is wrong. So we have right, and we have started as well already some deals in order to explain to European partners that this project, Nord Stream 2, is very dangerous for not only for Ukraine in terms of losing some profits from transit, but also for Europe, because it's splitting Europe in political and economic way as well.
Exactly how dependent is Europe on gas from Russian Federation, if dependent at all?
Surely, right now the situation is getting a bit worse, I would say, because especially recent year was marked by increased volumes of Russian gas, which was delivered to European market. In that regard, European Union, from my point of view, breaks in certain way own principles, meaning that no one can supply more than 1/3 to European market.
And there is a European Parliament statement which was made on May 7th, and it reads, may I quote, "This is yet another proof of the instrumentalization of gas supplies as a political tool of pressure by the Russian Federation, which might also impact the EU's energy security." So from what I get from this statement is that the European Union is perfectly clear about the threats that Russia might impose with implementing the project Nord Stream 2. Why not react properly?
Surprisingly, we have, as you well know, in the EU, you have three big rooms for discussion and decision making. One is European Parliament, second is European Commission, but the third is Council of the European Union. And especially this one is most powerful, I would say, if we speak about Nord Stream, because so far European Parliament has very clear vision about dangerous nature of Nord Stream 2. At the same time, European Commission seeks to gain special mandate to negotiate with Russia on terms they probably can then build this new pipeline. But it's about very strict rules which European Union can propose and then use with regard to this particular project. But so far, Council of the European Union has no wish to deal with this issue in the same way as the previous both institutions. Meaning that very recently special legal department of the Council has denied request from European Commission to give such mandate to European Commission for negotiation with Russia and Gazprom.
What happens next?
So far, I guess they're discussing further this matter, and perhaps in next month it should be decided.
Okay, let's wait for that. In the meantime, how can Ukraine secure its own energy sector?
For Ukraine, it's extremely important to work further on strengthening own capacities. And in that regard, we have heard already some plans to increase domestic gas production. It's very good, and during recent year, Ukraine passed necessary legislation. We just need to do some additional job in that regard, and hopefully even this year it will then go on quite well.
How can Ukraine increase its gas production? What needs to be done for that?
First of all, we need new investments. As said,
Foreign investments?
It could be both. So far, we have quite good for gas companies prices, gas prices. It means that even state-owned Укргазвидобування is capable to invest heavily in new production, to take best world well-known technologies, and to introduce as well some really know-how in that regard. So they can deal with already existing fields and also then go to new fields as well, and that altogether will then mean in a few years we can then go step by step further and increase production to the level which will be enough for us to cover domestic needs.
And be self-sufficient, so no need to import anything from Russia or whoever else.
But at that regard, we have also to deal quite intensive with energy efficiency and saving, because both directions are very much needed in order to bring needs and what we have in place.
How energy sufficient is Ukraine right now?
So far, quite insufficient.
So totally insufficient.
Not totally, but
are we at least
so
trying
far
to change that?
Yes, but we have to look quite closely on different branches. I would say our industry, especially those which are so small and medium enterprises, they are quite effective, energy efficient, because they have to do a lot in order to stay competitive on the market. Unfortunately, big enterprises, especially those which created big monopolies, they are less effective because they used a lot of time positive approach with regard to taxation, with some state donations and so on. But anyway, right now, even those branches are on the way to go more into energy efficiency.
Eastern Europe Energy Efficiency and Environmental Partnership Manager Andriy Lund has named energy sufficiency as the hidden fuel for Ukraine. Could you dwell on that? What did he mean?
It's very much not only for Ukraine but for the entire Europe as well, and even European Union and even those flagmans like Germany are working hard to improve energy efficiency, and we just wait already on the next very ambitious directive which the EU will adopt in next 1-2 years.
What is this directive?
And it will mean that we have to introduce massively so-called prosumers. It's households which produce and use electricity, for instance. We have to introduce...
So it's like a closed circle, a household that produces and uses its own electricity.
In some kind, yes. And we also have to introduce a lot of so-called passive houses, especially in public sector. We have to improve and strengthen our construction standards and to do a lot of other things. So, according to our association agreement, we have already a lot of obligations. Partly they are implemented, partly not. Just recently...
In a percentage way, how many?
Unfortunately, it's below 50% still.
Okay.
But anyway, recently our government produced the next report on implementation of association agreement, and with regard to energy sector and with regard to energy efficiency, I guess we have like 41%.
Mm-hmm. Well, still, it's a big number and we're heading there, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming here and giving this interview to us. That was Andriy Chubyk. He is the Executive Director of the Center for Global Studies, Strategy 21. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned with UATV.